He returned with a vision as grand as constructing a Jerusalem in Africa. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church asserts that there is no real mystery. The churches of Lalibela, they claim, were constructed by angels. Like every religion, Christianity has its controversies. There are debates over the origins of the faith, the skin color of the Messiah, Jesus, and disputes concerning the Western biblical canon versus the African canon. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church's biblical canon, not as widely recognized as Western versions such as the King James Bible, prompts a provocative question. What sensitive content does the Ethiopian Bible hold that it faces such disregard and hostility from the West? Which canon holds the truth? Join us as we delve into these mysteries. This is why the Ethiopian Bible got banned. What is the Ethiopian Bible? It's a known fact that Ethiopia remains the only African country that was never colonized. Hence, it has been without external influence and held its own from time immemorial. Ethiopia, the land of origins, is often perceived as a country with Christian roots, not planted by the influential West. In the middle of the 6th century, Cosmas Indicopleustis, a Greek traveler and Christian monk from Alexandria, wrote about Ethiopia in his work Christian Topography. In this work, he described Ethiopia as a Christian country. Cosmas visited Ethiopia around the 6th century AD and documented his observations of the region's geography, people, and religious practices. He reported Ethiopia opening her borders to Christians who avoided persecution amidst the strife between kingdoms and empires who were against Christianity. His writings provided valuable insights into early Christian communities outside the Byzantine Empire and contributed to the historical understanding of Ethiopia's Christian heritage. The Ethiopian Bible, also known as the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Biblical Canon, is a cornerstone of faith within the Ethiopian and Eritrean Orthodox Christian traditions, embodying centuries of spiritual heritage and theological wisdom. Its genesis can be traced back to the early days of Christianity, when the church in Ethiopia forged its own unique path in compiling sacred texts. However, why are some manuscripts accepted while others are rejected? In stark contrast to the canonization efforts of Western Christianity, particularly during the 17th century under King James I, the Ethiopian canon evolved independently, reflecting the distinct cultural and theological ethics of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. While the Western canon aimed to streamline Christian doctrine and practice, the Ethiopian canon emerged organically, informed by the rich tapestry of Ethiopian history, spirituality, and religious devotion. The divergence between the Ethiopian and Western canons is chiefly manifested in the selection of authoritative texts. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church incorporates several additional books into its canon that are absent from the Western tradition. These include revered texts like the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees, and the Book of Sirach, each contributing unique insights into theology, morality, and spirituality within the Ethiopian context. The process of accepting or rejecting certain manuscripts as canonical is intricately intertwined with theological deliberations and historical circumstances. Within the Ethiopian tradition, these additional texts are revered for their profound theological depth and spiritual significance, enriching the spiritual lives of believers and serving as pillars of religious identity. Moreover, the Ethiopian canon serves as a testament to the enduring faith and resilience of Ethiopian Christians who have safeguarded their religious heritage amidst various challenges and adversities throughout history. It embodies the soul of Ethiopian Christianity, intricately woven with the cultural fabric of the nation and rooted in the collective consciousness of its people. Despite its lesser recognition in Western circles, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Biblical Canon stands as a testament to the vibrant diversity of the Christian faith. It reflects the rich tapestry of human experience, offering a lens through which believers across cultures and continents can explore the mysteries of divine revelation and the boundless depths of spiritual truth. Through its sacred texts, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church continues to nurture the spiritual growth of its faithful, anchoring them in the timeless wisdom of Scripture and guiding them on the path of righteousness and holiness. In doing so, It embodies the enduring legacy of Ethiopian Christianity and its profound impact on the global Christian community. The Ethiopian canon consists of 81 books as opposed to the Western version, which has 66 books. Why is it so? What selective measures make one script meaningful and the others nonsense? Since the Bible. The Bible, derived from the Greek term ta biblia, meaning the books, serves as a sacred collection of religious texts embraced by diverse faith traditions such as Christianity, Judaism, Samaritanism, Islam, the Baha'i faith, and others within the Abrahamic lineage. Comprising a range of literary forms including instructions, narratives, poetry, and prophecies, the Bible originally existed in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Koine Greek. The Bible isn't as we know it right now. It is a compilation of different manuscripts over time from people who are thought to have seen or heard of the Messiah and lived in his time. The first translation of the Bible from Hebrew to Latin was done by St. Jerome. He was the one who pioneered the Vulgate, which till this day remains the principal Latin version of the Bible. Various religious communities compiled these texts into official collections, with the earliest consisting of the Torah, encompassing the initial 5 books of the Bible. Subsequent compilations included narrative histories, prophecies, the Nevi'im, and the Ketuvim, featuring Psalms, Proverbs, and historical accounts. The term Tanakh, an acronym for Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim in Hebrew, denotes the Hebrew Bible, while the Masoretic text and the Septuagint serve as significant textual versions. Christianity, stemming from Second Temple Judaism, adopted the Septuagint as the foundational Old Testament text. Building upon this heritage, early Christians continued the tradition of composing and incorporating inspired religious texts, which eventually coalesced into the New Testament, comprising the Gospels, Pauline epistles, and other writings. With sales surpassing 5 billion copies, the Bible stands as the best-selling publication globally, exerting a profound influence on both Western and global cultures and histories. The practice of biblical criticism has further shaped cultural and historical narratives, indirectly influencing society's evolution. Remarkably, ongoing efforts continue to translate the Bible into numerous languages worldwide, highlighting its enduring relevance and impact on humanity. Through its diverse narratives and teachings, the Bible resonates with individuals across cultures and generations, offering spiritual guidance, moral insight, and a profound sense of connection to divine wisdom. Its enduring legacy underscores the universal quest for meaning, truth, and spiritual fulfillment, transcending linguistic, cultural, and religious boundaries to inspire and uplift humanity as a whole. The rationale behind the selected manuscripts. The way the Roman and Byzantine churches set up their biblical canon has no effect on the Ethiopian canon. Unlike the Roman and Byzantine churches, which have faced criticisms for potentially selecting manuscripts to fit specific narratives or theological agendas, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church takes a different approach. In Ethiopia, the inclusion of a book in the biblical canon is primarily based on its perceived holiness and spiritual significance, rather than any predetermined narrative or theological agenda. This approach reflects a reverence for sacred texts and a commitment to preserving the entirety of Ethiopia's religious heritage. As long as a book is considered holy, it is included in the Ethiopian Bible. The process of selecting manuscripts for inclusion in religious canons, such as the Bible, varies significantly across different religious traditions and cultural contexts. While the Roman and Byzantine churches may have employed certain criteria and methodologies in setting up their biblical canons, the Ethiopian canon stands apart in its approach. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church's canon is characterized by a unique set of factors and considerations that have shaped its compilation of sacred texts. Throughout much of its history, Ethiopia maintained a degree of isolation due to its geographical location and limited communication with other Christian countries. This isolation afforded the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church the freedom to independently select and compile its own books and scriptures without external influence. As a result, the Ethiopian biblical canon reflects a rich tapestry of indigenous religious traditions, cultural expressions, and historical experiences. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church's canonization process is characterized by inclusivity and cultural preservation. It encompasses a wide range of texts, including ancient manuscripts, apocryphal writings, and indigenous religious literature, all of which contribute to the richness and diversity of the Ethiopian biblical tradition. The Ethiopian canon is not confined to a fixed number of books, but instead remains open to the inclusion of new texts that are deemed holy and spiritually edifying by the religious community. Furthermore, the Ethiopian biblical canon serves as a repository of Ethiopia's cultural identity and national heritage. It reflects the collective memory, values, and aspirations of the Ethiopian people, providing a spiritual foundation for their lives and communities. The preservation of indigenous religious texts and traditions within the Ethiopian canon underscores the importance of cultural continuity and self-determination in the face of external influences. The rationale behind the selection of manuscripts for the Ethiopian biblical canon is shaped by a combination of factors, including reverence for holiness, cultural preservation, and historical circumstances. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church's approach to canonization reflects a commitment to inclusivity, cultural authenticity, and spiritual integrity, ensuring that the Ethiopian Bible remains a testament to the enduring faith and resilience of the Ethiopian people throughout history. Furthermore, in the 4th century, many writings about the life of Jesus were revealed, but they were wrong, as most of them are very much akin to fan fiction. There was no internet to help with the verification of information. To curb this excess, they had a council meeting with Constantinople in 325 AD in the city of Nicaea. They decided what would and wouldn't pass for scripture. In their decision, they agreed that a book will be considered scripture if and only if the writer was a follower of Jesus, or he saw him teach, and the book must also have been written in the 1st century while correlating with the other bits of the Bible. The different texts in the Ethiopian Bible. The Ethiopian Bible, known as the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Biblical Canon, encompasses a rich tapestry of texts that reflect the religious and cultural heritage of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. This collection of sacred scriptures holds deep significance within Ethiopian religious life, serving as a cornerstone of faith and identity for millions of believers. Within the Ethiopian Bible, one finds an extensive selection of Old Testament texts that align with those found in other Christian canons. These include foundational books such as Genesis, Exodus, Psalms, and Isaiah, which form the basis of theological teachings and spiritual practices within the Ethiopian Orthodox tradition. These canonical texts provide believers with a framework for understanding God's relationship with humanity and offer guidance for moral and ethical living. In addition to the canonical Old Testament books, the Ethiopian Bible includes several texts that are unique to its tradition. Among these are the books of Enoch, Jubilees, and Sirach, which are not typically included in Western Christian Bibles. These additional books offer insights into theological concepts, cosmology, and moral teachings that are valued within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Furthermore, the New Testament of the Ethiopian Bible closely resembles the canonical texts found in other Christian traditions. It includes the 4 Gospels, the Acts of the Apostles, the Pauline epistles, and other writings that form the foundation of Christian belief and practice. These texts convey the life, teachings, and redemptive work of Jesus Christ, serving as a source of inspiration and spiritual nourishment for Ethiopian Christians. Beyond the canonical scriptures, the Ethiopian Bible incorporates a variety of additional texts specific to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church's religious tradition. These may include hymns, prayers, homilies, and liturgical texts that are used in worship and spiritual practice within the Ethiopian Orthodox community. These texts contribute to the rich tapestry of liturgical and devotional practices that characterize Ethiopian Orthodox worship. Moreover, the Ethiopian Bible reflects the indigenous religious texts and traditions that are unique to Ethiopian culture and history. These include legends, folklore, and teachings that have been passed down through generations within the Ethiopian religious and cultural context. Such indigenous elements enrich the spiritual tapestry of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, grounding its faith and practice in the cultural heritage of the Ethiopian people. In summary, the Ethiopian Bible represents a diverse and multifaceted collection of texts that embody the religious, cultural, and spiritual identity of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. It serves as a sacred repository of faith and tradition, providing believers with a source of guidance, inspiration, and spiritual nourishment in their journey of faith. Controversies on the extra books in the Ethiopian Bible. In the 4th century, many scripts were written about the life of the Messiah, Jesus. Some of them are dubbed true and added to the Western canon of the Bible, while some were removed. In the Ethiopian Bible, the Kebra Nagast, a script which is believed to have been composed in the 14th century, records the canon of the Queen of Sheba's visit to Jerusalem, a story which was also canonized in the Western Bible. However, the Western Bible does not record that the Queen of Sheba had a child, Menelik, with King Solomon. The Queen of Sheba and Menelik depicts the legendary encounter between Queen Makeda of Sheba and King Solomon of Israel. According to the Kebra Nagast, Makeda learns of Solomon's wisdom and travels to Jerusalem to meet him. Impressed by Solomon's knowledge, she declares her faith in the God of Israel. Solomon, captivated by Makeda's beauty, deceives her into sleeping with him before she returns to Sheba. During her journey back home, Makeda gives birth to Menelik in the land of Balazadasaraya. Years later, Menelik, seeking Solomon's blessing, travels to Jerusalem and reunites with his father, identifying himself with a ring given by Solomon. Despite Solomon's desire for Menelik to succeed him, Menelik chooses to return to Ethiopia. Unknown to him, his companions steal the Ark of the Covenant from the temple, and they miraculously escape back to Ethiopia. As Menelik learns of the Ark's presence, Solomon discovers its absence. Attempting to pursue Menelik, Solomon is thwarted by divine intervention. Meanwhile, Menelik becomes king of Ethiopia and embarks on military campaigns with the Ark, emerging victorious against his enemies. The narrative transitions to stories of kings and royal bloodlines, emphasizing the importance of lineage and divine favor. Prophecies foretell Ethiopia's spiritual supremacy over Israel and Rome's eclipsed by Ethiopia's power. The Kebra Nagast concludes with a prophecy of King Caleb of Aksum subduing the Jews of Najran and appointing his son Gabra Maskel as his heir. Controversies about the extra books in the Ethiopian Bible arise from the inclusion of texts like the Kebra Nagast, which narrates legendary events not found in other biblical canons. In the 4th century, numerous texts about Jesus' life were written. Some were deemed authentic and incorporated into the Western canon, while others were excluded. The Kebra Nagast's account of the Queen of Sheba's visit to Jerusalem parallels narratives found in Western biblical texts. However, it adds unique details, such as the birth of Menelik and the theft of the Ark of the Covenant. These additions have led to debates over the historical accuracy and theological significance of the Kebra Nagast within the broader Christian tradition. In 2012, experts looked at the genetic makeup of many Ethiopians and found telling proof of her journey and her birth in Jerusalem. Despite all of this proof, which authenticates the documentation of the Kebra Nagast, it still isn't accepted as a part of the Western canon, which has given birth to a series of controversies, one of which is the right of succession to King Solomon's dynasty. Menelik's birth creates questions about the succession of the throne. As the son of Solomon, Menelik could potentially claim the right to inherit Solomon's kingdom. This raises concerns about the stability and legitimacy of Solomon's dynasty, especially if Menelik chooses to assert his claim to the throne. Furthermore, the circumstances surrounding Menelik's birth, including the Queen of Sheba's visit to Solomon and their subsequent relationship, may have legal and social repercussions. In some interpretations, Solomon's actions in deceiving the Queen of Sheba and fathering a child with her outside of marriage could be viewed as unethical or scandalous, leading to questions about his moral authority to rule. Also, the birth of Menelik carries religious and cultural significance within Ethiopian tradition. According to Ethiopian legend, Menelik became the first emperor of Ethiopia, establishing the Solomonic dynasty that ruled the country for centuries. This narrative reinforces Ethiopia's connection to biblical figures and emphasizes the country's status as a chosen land with divine favor. Despite controversies, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church regards the Kebra Nagast as a sacred text, affirming its place in the Ethiopian biblical canon. Its inclusion reflects the Church's commitment to preserving indigenous religious traditions and affirming Ethiopia's spiritual heritage. The Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch is an ancient Hebrew apocalyptic text attributed by tradition to Enoch, the patriarch mentioned in the biblical genealogy from Methuselah to Noah. This religious work, written in Hebrew and Aramaic, offers unique insights into the origins of demons and Nephilim, the fall of angels, the moral necessity of the Genesis flood, and a prophetic vision of the Messiah's thousand-year reign. Apart from 1 Enoch, tradition attributes 2 other distinct works, known as 2 Enoch and 3 Enoch, to Enoch's authorship. Despite its significance, none of the 3 books are considered canonical scripture by the Western Christian denominations. The oldest sections of 1 Enoch, particularly the Book of the Watchers, are estimated to date from around 300 to 200 BCE, while the latest part, the Book of Parables, likely originated around 100 BCE. Modern scholars suggest that the original language of Enoch was either Aramaic or Hebrew, although no surviving Hebrew version exists. Discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls in the Qumran caves, the Book of Enoch reflects the perspectives of a Jewish sect known as the Essenes, distinct from the mainstream Pharisaic Judaism of the time. This variance from Rabbinic Judaism underscores the diverse religious landscape of ancient Jewish communities. Despite its non-canonical status among most Jewish and Christian groups, the New Testament authors were familiar with some content of the Book of Enoch. A section of 1 Enoch is cited in the New Testament Epistle of Jude, attributing it to Enoch the 7th from Adam. Additionally, several copies of 1 Enoch were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, further attesting to its historical significance. Today, the Book of Enoch survives primarily in Ge'ez, Ethiopic translation, forming part of the biblical canon used by the Ethiopian Jewish community Beta Israel and the Christian Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. While other Jewish and Christian traditions may regard it as non-canonical, many acknowledge its historical and theological value. The Book of Enoch remains a captivating source of ancient Jewish mysticism and theological inquiry. While not recognized as canonical by Western Christian denominations, its inclusion in the Ethiopian biblical canon underscores its enduring significance within certain religious traditions. With its profound insights into apocalyptic themes and celestial realms, the Book of Enoch continues to fascinate scholars and believers alike, leaving a lasting impact on religious discourse and thought. Controversies on the Book of Enoch. Controversies surrounding the Book of Enoch stem from its unique content, which diverges from traditional Western biblical canons. This ancient text, attributed to the biblical figure Enoch, offers a fascinating glimpse into apocalyptic visions, celestial realms, and angelic beings. Its teachings on cosmology, eschatology, and divine judgment present a perspective that differs from mainstream interpretations found in Western religious traditions. As a result, the inclusion of the Book of Enoch in the Ethiopian biblical canon has sparked debates and controversies within theological circles. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Book of Enoch is its exploration of apocalyptic themes. Apocalyptic literature, characterized by visionary narratives and symbolic imagery, often focuses on the end times and the ultimate fate of humanity. In the Book of Enoch, readers encounter vivid descriptions of angelic beings, heavenly realms, and cosmic events that precede the final judgment. These apocalyptic visions provide a unique perspective on eschatology, offering insights into the spiritual significance of cosmic phenomena and the unfolding of divine destiny. Furthermore, the Book of Enoch explores the enigmatic concept of Nephilim, which are described as hybrid beings resulting from the union of angels and humans. This interpretation of Genesis 6:1-4 differs significantly from traditional interpretations found in Western biblical canons, while mainstream Christian theology often views the sons of God mentioned in Genesis as righteous descendants of Seth. The Book of Enoch presents a provocative alternative narrative that portrays these beings as fallen angels who defile humanity. This divergence in interpretation has fueled debates among scholars and theologians regarding the theological implications of the Nephilim narrative. In addition to its exploration of apocalyptic themes and Nephilim, the Book of Enoch offers unconventional insights into cosmology and celestial realms. The text describes intricate details of the heavens, including the celestial hierarchy of angels and the structure of the universe. These cosmological teachings provide a comprehensive framework for understanding the divine order and the spiritual dimensions of reality. However, some of these cosmological concepts challenge conventional understandings of the cosmos found in Western religious traditions, leading to disagreements among theologians regarding the compatibility of Enochian cosmology with Orthodox beliefs. The inclusion of the Book of Enoch in the Ethiopian biblical canon reflects the unique theological perspectives of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. Unlike Jewish and Christian traditions, which generally regard the Book of Enoch as non-canonical, the Ethiopian Church recognizes its sacred status and incorporates it into its religious practices. This acceptance of Enochian literature highlights the cultural and theological diversity within the global Christian community and underscores the importance of contextual interpretations of sacred texts. Despite its recognition in Ethiopian religious tradition, the Book of Enoch remains a subject of controversy and debate in wider theological discourse. Some scholars view it as a valuable source of historical and theological insights, while others question its authenticity and theological significance. The ongoing controversies surrounding the Book of Enoch serve as a reminder of the dynamic nature of religious interpretation and the diverse array of perspectives within the broader Christian tradition. The Ethiopian Christians seem to have a lot of belief in Enoch as they see him as a man from Ethiopia. In the scriptures ascribed to him, he recorded that he had conversions with notable archangels like the angel Michael and Gabriel, and the fallen angels known as the Watchers. And born from these conversions, he records the complex structure of the universe, and as the Western churches could not explain it in their canons, they rebelled against the book's inclusion in the Western Bible. King James I in the Holy Bible, King James, a bona fide intellectual, an avid hunter of knowledge, and a polyglot who once said, "Were I not king, I would have been a university man." England had never seen a king like him, however. It was one textual and scholarly enthusiasm that would forever burn him into the minds of every English speaker. The translation of the Hebrew Bible. It is rumored that even as a young man, he amused himself with his own translation of the text as he switched effortlessly between various languages, Greek, Latin, and French. King James I's involvement in the translation and publication of the King James Version, or KJV, of the Bible is a topic that intertwines religious, political, and cultural dimensions. As the monarch of England and Scotland, James sought to assert his authority over the church and promote religious unity within his realms. His decision to commission a new English translation of the Bible was driven by various factors, including his desire to consolidate his power and promote a version of Christianity that aligned with his beliefs and political agenda. At the time of James's reign in the early 17th century, England was experiencing religious tensions and divisions, with competing factions vying for influence within the church. This went against everything that James embodied. Although James was an intellectual unicorn who was capable of almost anything, it always seemed like he was overcompensating for something. James was a red-haired man who was unattractive. However, this unattractive, intelligent man had chosen his Latin motto, Beati Pacifici, which translates to, "Blessed are the peacemakers," an allusion to the Sermon on the Mount. However, in England at the time, biblical misinformation and different interpretations created no sign of peace, so King James took action. The existing English translations of the Bible, such as the Geneva Bible and the Bishop's Bible, reflected the theological perspectives of different religious groups, including Puritans, Anglicans, and Catholics. James saw an opportunity to unite his subjects under a single, authoritative translation of the Bible that would reflect his vision of religious orthodoxy and reinforce his position as the head of both state and church. To achieve this goal, James appointed a team of scholars and theologians to undertake the monumental task of translating the Bible from its original languages, i.e., Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, into English. The translation process was meticulous and involved multiple stages of review and revision to ensure accuracy and consistency. The translators worked diligently to maintain fidelity to the original texts, while also striving for clarity and elegance in the English language. The translation project was overseen by several committees, with each committee responsible for translating specific sections of the Bible. These committees included scholars from diverse theological backgrounds, ensuring a breadth of expertise and perspectives in the translation process. Once the initial translations were completed, they underwent rigorous scrutiny and review by multiple layers of authority within the church hierarchy. The process of vetting and approving the translations involved various ecclesiastical authorities, culminating in the Archbishop of Canterbury, who served as the highest-ranking official in the Church of England. James's Bible translation wasn't just a spiritual book. It was a fine piece of artwork and literature. Certain expressions that have now been made common by consistent usage stem from this piece of literature. Expressions like salt of the earth, an eye for an eye, our daily bread, pearls before swine, a wolf in sheep's clothes, the blind leading the blind, signs of the times, the writing on the wall, thorn in the flesh, and many more were first introduced in this newly translated Bible, where his name will be forever etched, King James Version. Outro. Did you enjoy the video? Show some love by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Scroll down to support us and stay tuned for more content like this on our channel.